Okay, so here is Terry. This is the camera that I got per your review, and I
I like it.
liked it. I do too, and hopefully that looks good. Now, the
Oh
bad
yeah.
thing that I'm gonna tell you, it looks like, ooh, we got Jared coming on. I haven't seen him in a while. That's cool. Uh, looks great, and the way I'm looking at it online, what you guys are seeing, it looks great. What I'm seeing right now is extremely dark. I'm trying to figure out how to do lighting on this. I'm going to blind you for a second to show you what looks good for me when I tie, but it's going to be totally washed out. So now I could actually see the fly, but
Well, you need to wear a dark shirt if you're going to do that.
and that's why I brought this, but I
Oh,
still
there you
think
go.
does that work or is
It's
that
still a
still
little
washed
washed
out?
out. You got
Yeah.
a little too much light on it.
Yeah, and so I haven't been able to play with this, and that
There's no
looks
adjustment on the video.
no. So I'm going to try to figure out. I've seen some people have those cool glow rings and all that. And maybe
Yeah.
that'll work, but
As long as you have an adjustable light output.
yeah, I tried a couple things, and I'm looking at the screen, and yeah, I'm like, wow, that looks good. I still might end up. I got a bonus coming in November. I still might get that other camera because if you could see, just what I would do with my hands, that's how far it is from the camera. So today, if I bump it, one, it's dark for me to see the fly itself. It looks good on camera, but I'm just a few inches away from it and it's kind of dark. So,
Hey, Mick,
sir,
Al Beatty did a thing on Zoom calls on how to do them, how to conduct them. And one of the weeks they spent talking about lighting and how to do lighting. I will send you the link to his YouTube video on that
Please
because he
do.
covers an awful lot of stuff about reflectivity and colors and color temperatures and where to put your lights and where not to put your lights. So that'll help a lot.
Gotcha. So again, I'm going to tie, and it looks good, and I'll be kind of taking time back and forth looking at my TVs or my monitor and this, because what I'm looking at is a very dark area. So I'm going to try a couple different ways. The cool thing, again, this is soft hackle. It's a fly I wish I've tried more. I like tying them. This is really easy. So Scott, if this is something you want to try, this is easy fly to tie. I've caught one trout on it. I could see bluegill tearing these things up, but I always I kind of know how to swing a fly and all that. I'm always confused on how will I know I have a fish, and I'm no expert on this. So if someone else does know how to fish his fly, speak up. But I remember when the one I caught at Merrimack, it was kind of neat where I was watching my line do its drift and it was swinging back around and it had a nice constant pace, and all of a sudden it took off. And that's when I figured, okay, there's something on the end of it. And I raised up my rod tip and set the hook and caught it. And it was on a fly similar to this, but I didn't have the ribbing on it. And so it was kind of fun, but it took me an hour to catch that one fish, where when I went back to what I'm comfortable with, which everyone knows is nymphing, I started doing better. But I wanted to try this. It looked like fun. I did have fun. It just took a while. And this was in my early days of fly fishing, so I wasn't as patient as I could have been. So, but I will go through this again. Forgive me if I stumble a little bit because what I'm looking at seems a little bit darker. That was the orange. I've always heard good things about that. With this one, it's kind of hard to see, but that is peacock hurl body. And then I had, soft hackle on top. That was kind of neat. You could do different things. That's the fun thing about this fly, is the only thing that's going to be similar to all the flies is the soft hackle. After that, how you want to dress the body, it is up to you. You could use dubbing, you could use just thread. I even have, here's the dubbing one I had, and I threw a tail on it. So the ends on, it's limitless, you know, however you want to tie these, they're out there. So if you have a fly that you already like, that's a dry fly or a nymph, you could probably pattern a wet fly to this. So again, sky's the limit, and it was just kind of fun trying different things. And I'll go through a couple of these, and then if someone else wants to jump on, you can as well. So again, this is new camera. Let's see if I could get in. So I'm using this Mustad, which is a standard, it's a caddis hook. I kind of like the bend to it, so that's what I chose on this. It looks like you could do streamer flies, 1X shank length, works really well. I've seen some people have dry flies on them, but with dry flies, the hooks are usually a little bit thinner wire, and you want to have a little weight to this. So that's why some of the caddis hooks in it, as you can see, is a little bit thicker and would be a good to get some weight on it. So I will start with this. I'm doing the UTC thread. This is 210, so it's a little bit thicker, but I'm doing some orange to it. The orange soft hackle seemed to be a favorite, and while I was looking online, it's a lot of good things about this. So if I was going to braid Blue Springs, this would be the first one I would use, but we decided we're going to wait on that one, maybe winter time, maybe with a smaller crowd. So as with most of the flies, I'm just going to put a thread base. As I said, taking my time, looking back at the camera. Okay. Oops, sorry, I popped the camera. All right, I am going to use a wire rib on this. So I'm doing the UTC Ultra Wire Small Copper. There you go, that looks better. I could see that. So that's what I'm using. Small seems to be a good size. I got extra small and then medium. Small is about my favorite, and then it puts a good ribbing on the flies. The hooks, again, I actually saw some use clink hammers, which everyone knows I kind of like, fancy that one. They've used those, and it's seems like the sizes that I see are anywhere from 12 to 18. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just kind of give this a spin, flatten my thread, try to get a nice even body. Looks a little lumpy towards the front, but I'm going to be okay with that because I'm going to have to dam it up a little bit anyway. For the soft hackle to be raised up, you kind of want a little dam there to help raise that up. So at this point, I'm going to put my half hitch in here, especially now since I'm having a little bit hard time seeing. Put the thread in the cradle. So now I'm going to use my rotary tool, put in my ribbing. Quick looks at the camera because I can see it better on the camera than I can with my own eyes right now. So I do like this camera. It's Mick just has to figure out the lighting. So I'm gonna wrap in this copper wire right now. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it back a little bit, a couple eye lengths. As you can see where I'm hanging that. So I want to put a little dubbing dam there. That's what's gonna help me flare up some of that soft hackle. I just got a nice little container of different dubbing. Sorry for the glare. And there's all different colors. I'm just gonna take some little copper. You don't need a whole lot. You're just creating a little dam. So as you see, I'm just concentrating it in one area. So that's where I'm going to use to flare up my hackle. Now, everything that I've seen online, they call for partridge hackle. I didn't have any of that, but I had just about everything else. So I found something called, it says round rubber hackle, which is what I'm going to try on this one right now. Found some other feathers that I don't know what that is, but that turned out good. A couple others, but I did a couple with the grouse hackle, and that turned out pretty good too. I just didn't have the partridge, which was called out, but I still had pretty decent results. So I will pull one of these out. It's kind of neat. Just a little bit of feather and just the stem. I'm going to try to get some of that to flare back, and you're kind of looking for that where my tie-in point will be right here. And I'll use hackle pliers and spin this around. Pardon me, because this is a little dark for me. Spin my thread. Lock that in. This little, oops, sorry for my finger. Off that little excess off. And I will now take my hackle pliers. Actually, before I want to do that, I always, as I said, I like to put a little stopping point. So I'm going to put a half hitch in, so I don't lose that. Get my hackle pliers, lock that in. When you do the hackle, you want to do kind of spares. Really only want to go over it once to maybe 1.5 turns. Ooh. I lost it, but no big deal. Let's bring that back. Any questions so far? Again, this is actually a good fly if you're going to have a beginner that you want to teach. There's few parts. The hackle might be a little bit difficult. Too bad. Any of the loose strands, I'm just going to help pull back. Grab my whip finisher. Grabs.
That's good.
It's a quick fly too, so
Yeah. Nice.
here it is.
Looks good.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah,
I'll take a dozen if you don't mind.
there you go, Walt. Glad to see you. we'll start tying these up.
Might be an old man by the time you get him, Walt.
I am an old man. What the hell are you talking about?
So that's one of them. As I said, that's the orange soft hackle that I see. It gets popular. And then even yesterday, I did a quick run out to Bennett, and orange seemed to be a good popular color. So tends to work out. Wish I had these. I could have tried them out a little bit, but for next time, I really do want to push myself. I'm trying to learn something different. So this is what I plan on doing soon. So any questions on this?
No, but I got a question though, because I got a call from Kenny House today.
Yep. We
Yeah.
probably talked about it. He was at Blue Spring and couldn't
Yes.
find us.
Were you there?
The event is, Kenny was 2 weeks early. So I will be giving Ken a call after this. I hopped on after work, and while I was getting this all set up, I went to check my Project Heating Water email, and I saw Ken's, and I'm like, oh dear. So he was there a little bit early. The CRM has it out there as well for August 21st. So we feel his pain. I didn't see you on the email, so I'm sure he told you all about it. So we're definitely not going to be going there. I think that's a little bit too much for most of us. So,
Well, he said there really wasn't any signs for any drought, really.
okay. So yeah, we
Which that water was really hot.
yeah, it was, I think what he said was close to 99 degrees.
No, I mean the water temperature.
Yeah, well, it's a small stream. And then with that kind of heat out there, I'm sure that raises the temperature of the stream up, a small stream. So,
Especially if you're wearing waders out there, he said.
yeah, he said he had his waders on, and that was a bit much. So yes, I will be calling Ken after this, apologizing, and we need to pick a new spot for the 21st.
You can come here and pick out lily pads roots. I'll pay you $1 a root.
$1 a root. You know what that might be? You have any fish in there, or are they all gone?
I have no idea.
Okay, because that would have been kind of fun. Let's go visit Walt on the 21st. I don't know if you got fish or not.
I can put some in there.
Look, minnows for now.
I'll go get some goldfish.
So we're going to figure out a location for this. Don't know, we were talking Huza sounds good. That's a little bit more wide open. With the heat, we could wet wade with that pretty easy. So either Huza, or I think that's probably what we'll be leaning to. I have to see if I could find those camping spots that Amy and Steve got last time. That was kind of nice. I don't think many people choose those camping spots because they're right by the put-in, and would get a little bit too crowded for the average camper. So I'm thinking that if anyone wants a second that, we could do that, or we could still kind of discuss on what we want to do.
I think that Huza in August is a good shot.
You want to do that? Let's call Huza.
Yeah, it's got some shade. They got facilities there.
Yeah, so let's do that. Let's call it Huza. It'll be a nice area. We could wet wade. Again, they've got, depending on what's going on, there could be trout there. See a lot of those, I think they call them pumpkin seed bluegill, which
Yeah.
are extremely pretty.
Mhm.
They almost look like they should be a saltwater fish. There are gar. Terry and Amy caught a couple of those. And then the last time we were there, right when I walked up, Jim Saraceno had a very nice size smallmouth bass. So different fishing, but it's good for wet wading, and it's a good fun social event. So for sure I will grill out for that one, because that's easy, because where we have our little setup to the fishing is a stone's throw away. So we'll do that. So look for cancellation on Blue Spring, but then who's coming up on that same date. And I'll give them a call in the morning and see if I could reserve those 2 spots.
Is
That's how
that
much-
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go for it.
No, I was gonna ask you, is this around Highway 8?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll get directions and everything. So we should be good. Amy, I might bug you on how you did, because I know, did you put a credit card down or something? So when people showed up, the daily fee was just covered by us, which I'll
Yeah,
give you an
the
email.
best way to do that is just buy the camping site for the day. and
Okay,
Buy that. Everybody still needs to check in and do everything, but it's the easiest route. And then you have your spots reserved.
Okay.
Pretty much, I think in the 80s, I'll have to look back at my notes. But just reserve it. The other thing is who's all conservation area, which you can get there from Leesburg or you can get there from 44. It's up, you turn off before you get to, it's the Browns. So Terry knows where that is. And we parked on that one side. That's where we did that July 4th or 5th outing.
yeah,
With all those. It's still, again, very wadeable. Great smallmouth if you get up around that little cove area. And again, bluegill, small, the little pumpkin seeds and stuff like that, but it's only $5 per car. So we can catch up this week if you want some options and then send that out.
okay,
But both are great options.
all right. So one of those 2 spots, and Amy, much appreciated. I'll send you an email.
Who's all something? Just leave it up at that. Who's all
Who's all
something?
something?
Check your emails.
And they're
Check
good
your emails.
times. I'm actually thinking the Huza, because that's with the campground that right there, I could at least have, I could do us a cookout or something, so.
Yep.
But 'cause that was fun. I always enjoyed that because it was easy fishing, but that seemed more social than fishing, but we still got fishing then, so.
It's a great, I love that location.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think that's the thing too, is just come down. It's a summer day. Just come down and enjoy, and you're gonna see it with the water levels right now. They're typically running from that site out and down, as opposed to the other site that's up, and then you're fishing and then you see all the canoes come through. So that's why Huza Resort is most preferred.
Yeah,
In the summertime, because they send people out and you don't see them again, which is okay. And it's spring fed. So you have a spring right there at that Y area. And with the flooding that happened recently, you might get on a trout or 2. Because they come over from Westover Farms.
yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, if there's any flooding,
Oh.
those trout get. washed up.
Rogers had a trout,
Oh, cool,
and I think it was delicious. I think it was wrapped in foil when he cooked it.
nice.
Everything. So Rogers had a trout. I've had a trout. But you can catch trout right there by the spring area from Dry Creek is
Yes.
the name of the creek that runs in. It's spring fed. So very cold. You get like warm water and then all of a sudden cold, and it's just fun. Just go out and enjoy.
Cool. While we're talking, I'm pinning Carl because it looks like he's got a good one going on.
Yeah, I'm looking at Carl. That looks good.
Yeah, we're pinned to you, Carl, so
Uh-oh.
you're on the spot.
Uh-oh. Now I'm gonna break it so you can, you're jinxing me, I think.
Don't say that. Don't say it out loud.
Once we see yours, I'll probably see what Dave's cooking up as well.
Hey, Carl, how far away is your camera
Few little
from the
grasshoppers.
vise?
About 4 inches.
4 inches? Hey, Mick, I wonder if you couldn't focus and pull your vise away from the camera a little bit farther and try and refocus manually.
Oh, I
See if it
can.
would focus out a little bit farther.
Yeah, and we could do that, for the fact that if anyone's looking for a camera to kind of do what we're doing, I spent $35 for it. So it was a good, just quick, let's see what it does. Now, the one that I used when we did the Vets Fish Free at Bennett and we tied for Mayfly project, theirs was a good foot away, but it was zoomed up right on and you could adjust the
That was the $600 camera, right?
$300 one, but
Oh.
they're coming down again. I don't know if there was like, a run on them that I said a lot of good stuff about them and they jumped up to like 3 1/4 but they're back down to now 2 1/4.
Could you buy
Okay.
me two of them? Mick?
Say again?
Would you mind buying me two of them?
2 of them?
Sure.
Send him 10.
Send them 10.
He won't be able to figure it out.
Carl, that looks good.
Yeah, really good, Carl.
Hey, Mick, I did some research this week and what I found out was even though your camera's a 1080p, Zoom will only broadcast at 320, which is standard definition. So
Hmm.
if it's not looking like high def to anybody, that's probably because it isn't.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's very disappointing. Even the pro version, which I have, will only record at 720p for 2 people. You get 3 or more and it drops to 320. And I'm sure that's a bandwidth issue.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Amy, do you know what Teams does?
No, I can check on it, but no, we haven't had that issue with the pro tires that have come on. We haven't had that issue as far as the buffering. I'm picking it up okay on the Pixel. It looks like Carl's is an autofocus. So
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now it's out of focus for me, but Mix look like a manual focus.
Yeah.
There you go,
Yeah.
Carl.
Just
Yep.
lean into it.
Yep.
Yeah, see, that looks good to me. I'm on a big screen TV too, and that looks pretty good right there. Well, now it doesn't.
Depends if I move or not.
Well, and that's a problem because our hands are moving, the thread's moving, everything else, and the autofocus, it doesn't know where to focus. It's just like a regular,
Right.
the new digital cameras,
Yeah,
right? And you're supposed to, as you're aiming up with your digital camera and you're supposed to press down on your shutter just to get it to focus, but it still doesn't know what to focus on. But that's what you run into with the autofocus on the cameras. And yeah, they can range anywhere from like $12 to 150. And then the manual focus, same as far as pricing wise, they've come down quite a bit. But definitely manual focus, and you just want to be able to turn the dial like the old cameras.
Yep.
yeah, that and what you want to. We found too that if you have a solid background that's not glossy but a matte finish,
Yeah.
like a poster card or something like that, camera turning on your shirt because the shirt moves a lot and it's got a lot of texture. The camera will tend to focus on your shirt, so you got to find a way to keep it from focusing on the shirt. And what a lot of us have started using are a light blue or a gray foam board behind the between the camera and or between the camera, the hook, and then the foam board, so that you're focusing
and-
on that rather than your shirt.
And-
So
And Carl, I think even, is yours set up, like, is it fixed to something that you couldn't move it or not? Because you're almost just like that one eye test to the wrong side.
Yeah.
But and it's actually, when you leaned in, it picked up on every grain of your t-shirt. There you go. Keep going. Keep. There. Nope, you had it. And then come back.
Carl, put your hand up behind the fly, or behind the hook, right there. There.
There.
See how
There,
that
now
looks?
tie like that
Yep.
Yeah.
Stick
and don't
your-
breathe.
Stick your right hand in, then stick your right hand out. You stick your right hand in.
No, white won't work.
Yeah, I'm just,
White will definitely not work. It's
But I'm
gotta be
thinking-
a light gray or a
you-
light blue or green or,
No,
You were almost right there. And I think with your camera, are you able to move your camera away from your vise?
yeah,
Okay, now come in a little bit, just like half an inch at a time. There, you're almost there. Better. It's a little bit on the fuzzy. I mean, we could see it most definitely on up. We just lost it right there. There. I'm wondering if it's not your lighting.
It's the autofocus maybe.
it's the autofocus
There.
on it.
There we go. We just had it right when you just got ready to hold up your thread. It was right on.
Maybe it's because it was creating a focus point.
There.
It's trying to read that. That's what it is.
It's
Yep.
focusing on your bobbin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
go ahead and
check
tie
something
it.
else then.
Don't worry about it.
Now,
Either,
what,
either way, we can still see it and just
Yeah.
hold still when you finish your fly.
now I would say last week, Thursday, I was on John Wright's call and I forgot the gentleman's name who had his setup. Now that was a crazy setup. When he zoomed on the thread, you could see where you could easily see where you could say if the thread's laying flat or if you have it spun up to be like cord.
Oh, wow.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I know John could probably put the link to it, but man, if you want to see a setup, that was impressive.
hey, Mick, how could somebody or a couple people practice tying on the screen together, where you could critique each other?
What we could do, and that's something that we'd have to call out the fly ahead of time, like tonight, if we'd say, if we want to do woolly buggers or something like that, and that would give everyone enough time to go out and get the material. And then what we could do is one of us could have the vise, in the camera and say, all right, here's step one. Put your hook in the vise. And then once everyone does that, all right, grab your lead and give me like somewhere between 5 and 8 and just go step by step. And we could do that. And that works very well in other
Hey,
programs.
Carl, are you okay?
Yeah.
You're not having a stroke or something, are you?
No, I'm playing with the audio, the advanced stuff settings on this Zoom thing to see if I can adjust it, but I can't. It said video caption method and it said auto, direct show, or media foundation, and I was just playing with it. When I selected auto, I was on auto and it said changes will take effect after you restart Zoom. Well, I'm not gonna restart Zoom. So.
No, and I think it's good. And really, Carl, when you that pause in between, so as you're tying and as your thread wraps are going, and keep everything in mind when we're doing videos too, it's not rapid fire. We're not tying on production. So if you just go slow as you're explaining it, I think your camera will catch up because your camera's always been great. Right now, it's just picking up the difference. It's actually trying to pick up your shirt more than it is the hook. There, that's perfect right there.
Amy, how far is your camera away from your vise?
About 4.5, 5 inches.
Okay.
Can you see it on mine?
Yeah, it's nice and clear. Yeah, you got the same camera that I use.
And
And I really like it.
I've got a second pin going on. Roger's got a nice view of his vise too. And John, it looked like we lost you for a little bit, but then I was telling him about last Thursday, your fly tying session. The one gentleman had a setup that was unreal. I don't know if you could share that link with everyone, because I was telling him he had it zoomed up so close to the shank of the hook that you could tell where he was describing laying the thread flat or spinning it up to like twine it up. It was unreal.
Yeah, that was Eric Austin, and he's using high price digital DSLRs.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, they're also, and yeah, it was great, wasn't it?
it was unreal.
It's amazing. Yeah,
It was amazing that when he laid the thread flat, you could see strands. It was
Yeah.
it was like a microscope.
Yeah, he's well, but he does it professionally too. So he and Al Beatty both are. In fact, most of the guys that are on that call are professional fly tyers. So
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Amy, we got you now pinned too.
Oh, I
You
didn't, I
started
didn't realize
tying.
it, but
You started tying, so I'm gonna pin you. Whoever's
well, and mostly I was playing around on my feedback, and when you were talking about so we talk about the different cording on thread, and that's often a lot of questions as far as how do you get the thread to do what you want it to do, right? So we've got where it opens up, and you can see where it has more. Cut this off for a second, but you can see there's more pieces to the thread on
Mhm.
here, right? So you have more parts of that. When you're talking about laying it out, and what Mick was just talking about as far as you can see when you cord it up, you can see when different things. So every thread has a language, and one of the things, again, when you don't like your fly, come in, cut it off. Right, you can start over on that. But every thread is put on the spool with a direction. And I think when you come in and you lay it down, and you can see how those are all spread out. And I'm getting my fly started. I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna get it in place, come in, I can cut this. And then as I go forward, I can lay this out, and it's literally just, it's a language, right? You're talking to it. So I can lay this out. I can make it nice and flat. Everything is seaming together. I can build this as much as I want. I don't need any dubbing. I don't need anything else. So just like what Mick was doing, what Carl's doing right now, we don't need any dubbing. We can make thread body soft hackles. We can make a lot of things that already carry their own weight once they get set up. But when I talked about, and I don't know if you can see or not, my thread's starting to spin. You see that down there?
Yeah.
Because it wants to go its own direction. It's like a cowlick. Think of it like that, right? So if I take this, and I have my desk is very short to where my tying area is, but on anything, you can spin it in the opposite direction. And what it will do is it's going to bind these more together, or it's going to open them up, depending on which way you go. If you're a lefty, ignore everything I'm saying. If you're a righty, then it's always clockwise, counterclockwise. So on this, I'm going to have the red on here, and I'm just going to lay this on. I'm going to finish it out so you can see what it does, and then I'll come in with a brighter color so you can actually see what's happening. But on a yellow or something, very similar, again, kind of corded. When I start this in, and I can unwrap it to get it to open up. This one's very tightly wound. It's very, I can rub over this and it actually has a grit to it, but I can open that up and I can cover all of this. Or if I tightly wind it, I can have that corded effect. And so I can lay this on a fly, very specific. I want a pattern, and then I can come back up and finish it off. So that's the difference as far as the different on your threads and your thread dimensions. On this, I would just finish it out, come in, same finish. I like technical, I like doing this. That's all I need to finish that off. It was just an accent, like rod builders, right? I just want an accent. Come in and finish it. If I wanted to come in with something even heavier, I'm trying to find, gonna have to switch out a bobbin real quick. Because no, I do not use only white thread. We do have a lot of white threads here, though. Pull up this one. This is a fun one. Okay, here you're going to be able to see it. So same thing. I'm going over the top of it. Can you see how many strands are there
Mm-hmm.
on this portion? All right. So I'm coming in, I'm laying over the top of that. And in my start, I've gone back 4 or 5 spins, gotten that all in position. This wants to go, same like a cowlick, right? It wants to go a direction. And whether or not you're right-handed or left-handed, but as you spool through, and you can see it lay down, this is extremely important on nymphs, right? Because you don't want a lot of layer and build up. You want to build it up as you go. But you can see on this, I can come back, I can cover up. I've covered up all of that red going forward. And I don't even think I have 30 turns. And I've covered up all of that. It's only because of the thread. It wasn't anything else that I did. But if I wanted to spin this, I'm going to spin it and then it will cord. And so now all of a sudden, all those thick fibers became one, and I can make ridge effects. And again, especially on soft hackles, because attention in the details. I can come back, make that ridge. I can finish it off back here. I could go forward and do, and I'm done. But if you contrast colors, obviously that would show a little bit more. But the difference in your threads is extremely important. Now on something like this, you could easily add in on your soft hackle, and I don't really have a little bit of something. Adding in my soft hackle on that, now I could add that in. A little bit of starling. Come in, same, gonna strip it. And where I like to tie on this is up underneath, come up at the 45, come in. But see how that thread wants to push it up? If I just come up too fast, wants to push it up over the top. So I have found, I just spin, I can get my thread a little bit more corded. Again, I'm just trying to wind these together so that they all want to cooperate. Come up underneath, grab it. Come around. I'm going to leave that tag in for right now because I want to come around on my fly a little bit, wrap. And again, with soft hackle, and I saw even with Mix and also with Carl's, you can manipulate these. They go to the back, right? As you work this around, you can get that going around to the back. And this is really long and kind of leggy. Come in, you can cinch it in. But I'm using the same thread, but that corded effect gives it a little bit more cinch in my opinion. So that's kind of it.
Looks good.
I mean, it looked like a grab and go, but thank you.
Hey, Mick, somebody wanted to know how you can show two people at once on your screen.
For me,
No. I tell you what, we figured out how to do that.
double pin.
No, it's not pin. It's called Spotlight.
Okay.
If you right click on the person, for example, if you right click on Amy,
All right. I have
It's
her
like-
pinned right now. So
select Spotlight instead of pin
yeah. Okay. I'm going to remove her pin.
and select Spotlight.
Okay. I'm going to.
That forces you to pin her to everybody's screen. There you go. Now click on somebody else and spotlight them.
Oh. I get that
Look at
now.
all that fanciness.
Yeah, because I get it. Because when I pin, that's for me. When spotlight,
Yeah.
I'm forcing everyone to look.
Yeah, pinning is just for you, but when you spotlight it, you force everybody to see it. So
Wow.
pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. That is neat. Because even I muted myself because Margie came down and she was like, that pin is only for you. Now I get to tell her, guess what I learned?
Spotlights for everyone.
Yep.
And
That is neat. Okay.
I was going to show you my implementation of Amy's camera, but I can't get it to work. So for some reason, I can't get any cameras to work. Just a second here. Let me turn off OBS Studios.
I'll still figure this out sooner or later.
There we go. That's me. Let me try this. There you go.
Right.
Amy, there's my, I'm sorry, it's upside down. Because I've got my camera mounted upside down. I usually invert it with OBS, but that's what it looks like. Now, my camera is about 2 inches away from the vise. And so it makes it a little difficult to tie, but that's what that manual camera that you use and I use look like when you're up close. So
And what I've really found with that too, again, it's kind of what you get used to using. And I mean, there's been a lot of great commentary as far as people using their iPhones. So if you have that ability, like fly tying, like fly fishing, just practice.
Yeah.
And if you just were like, hey, does this work very well? We all know what we like and what we don't like from watching YouTube videos or any others. You know, some just don't even hold our attention. And so just give it a try. But I think this is, so yeah, sorry on my whole thread thing, but I think a lot of times with the thread,
Oh, it helps.
that's the overwhelming. People are, you know, you walk into a fly shop, what should I get? Right. And we have our go-tos. I have my go-tos. Mine's Vivus. I know Mix likes the
Simplify.
new nano silk, and it's not really new, but he likes that
Yep.
because it lays down the way you want it. Practice. We just can't say it enough. Practice.
Yep.
and if anybody wants to see the video that Mick was talking about, it's posted up on a YouTube channel called Flatwater Fly Fishers. And it's about an hour and 20 minutes of Eric Austin tying a Parmashini bell, a married feather fly. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. If you've got a few minutes, it's really neat to see. I mean, it will blow your mind. You're like, whoa, I didn't know we could go to video equipment like that.
You can if you got all the money in the world.
Yeah.
On
maybe-
that note, I'm
maybe
gonna
we can get,
go eat barbecue chicken.
Nice.
Maybe we can get the Hailing Waters to buy us all a Zoom studio.
Yeah. Amy, it was good to see you. Please tell
Yeah.
Steve we said hello. We missed both of you.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
Hope to
say
see you
hi
in
to
a couple of
Steve
weeks.
for us.
We will be around and John, yes, it all cleared on my schedule, so I'll see you in Nebraska.
Cool.
So, yep, looking forward to it, and we'll do this up. We'll do this up any way you want to, but
Got you
looking
set
forward
up
to
with
it.
Mike
Yeah.
Medina. He'll take you out and hook you into some carp, so you get some big fishing. We got rods for you, so.
I've got my, well, all I just lived off of in Montana for the last 3 weeks was my 7-piece Orvis 4-weight. You guys all remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you bought so much from Orvis and they would send you the 7-piece.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was my dad's. Was out there, had my Orvis reel, and yeah, tore it up. If you guys want to hear the epic story, you need to call Bubba Holt. I'm
Yeah,
not
leave
gonna
that-
tell the
leave that-
story.
Leave that thing in St. Louis, Amy. Don't come out here with that.
Well, you need to hear the 20-something inch brown through. I was to my backing when I set.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'll let you
Great.
just go with that. And Bubba can tell it much better than I can. He was my witness. But yeah, just got back on Wednesday and glad to be back, turning around and going again. And it's all good, but I will see you in a couple weeks, John.
All right.
So, and going to eat chicken because I have missed home cooked food like you guys cannot believe. So good to see everybody.
Yeah,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Good job,
Bye-bye.
Nick.
See ya.
Goodbye.
All right, for the rest of you, just really quick. So again, Blue Springs is off except for Ken, who already did it. We'll be doing the Who's on the 21st. Then we are getting into, after that, Montauk has on September 10th, their Vets Fish Free. I will not be able to make that one. So those who want to go, it's still going to be a good time, head out. Let me see, the women's fishing at Bennett. Sometimes we show up to that. My wife likes going there, so I will be out there. I'll be there Wednesday through Sunday. I think it's September 22nd through 25th. So if you guys want to head out to Bennett, I'll be out there. I'll be with the camper. So we have a place that good hangout if you guys want to cook out and everything there. Then we start getting into October. Steve, I think it's I'll destroy last names, Elric. He's got his retreat going on October 8th at Westover Farms. If you want information on that, it's a one-day trip, but it's not through Project Healing Waters, and I think it's a fee of $150. I told him I would be going. That's not covered by Project Healing Waters, but I wanted to see what it looks like. If it's good, that might be something that I will do with Project Healing Waters.
Where are they going?
Westover.
Oh, Westover.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a one-day retreat where they said, you know, there will be some food. I think they want to discuss the book A River Runs Through It, which I bought I guess you'd call the sequel to it, where it's the son's kind of talking about continuing the story of it, which I'm only in the chapter 1, but outstanding book. If you liked A River Runs Through It, I'll get you the name on this, but it's another McLean book, really good. But so that's on October 2nd. And then we are talking about still doing an overnight, maybe October for Bennett, but we're still trying to work the details. I was at Bennett this past yesterday, and the place was packed. Camping is booked out a year in advance, pretty much same with the lodging. So we are trying to find something that we could do. Probably they have a couple lodging outside the park that we might be trying. There's a couple motels there and a couple privately owned places where they put up cabins. So I'll look into it. I know Terry said he would look as well. And so we're looking for that. October might be kind of tough to do. We might be doing November, which means we'd have to wait until the second weekend of that month because they have a cool down period to the catch and release. So it'll probably be November that we'll do this. And then it seems like a lot of these cabins start opening up. And that's still my favorite time to go out there. And as we get further into the winter, December, January, everything opens up. So if you guys want to try to brave the cold, I love going out there, and we could go out there. And so,
Nick, let me throw something else at you.
sure.
What would you think about a St. Louis, Omaha, and Des Moines program getting together and meeting up in the Decorah area to do a fish in the driftless?
That's
there.
always-
I'm there.
okay.
Somebody's fished up there.
Yes, Carl's already in. So
I've
Okay,
not
let me-
fished up
let me
there,
Get a
but
hold of the program lead up there, and you and I can maybe work out some details. It probably won't be this year, maybe next spring.
okay. And I've heard Mike Swanson talk great stories about that. And
Oh, it's wonderful up there.
So,
I've had-
Little small stream fly fishing.
so
I have a friend that went up there or that goes up there. He's from up in that area. And he said, dude, you never fished the driftless? I go, no. He says, you can't even call yourself a fly fisherman if you've never fished a driftless. I
Yeah,
said,
fish to
"Okay."
driftless and die is a pretty good expression.
wow.
Which, by the way, for those of you that don't recognize that as an old World War I expression, says, see Paris and die. But hey, what can I say?
Yeah.
I am
No,
old.
so we're looking on trips. Again, as a new program lead, I'm still trying to figure out the ins and outs of those. That overnight trips are basically funded by our what we get in from donors for us. So still working all that out. So some of these might be on our own budget, meaning your own credit card, but if you're really interested in this, we'll still get together on this. Again, if you have any questions, you have my phone number, emails, get a hold of me. Like I will be getting a hold of Ken right after we get off with this. So again, if you have anything, please reach out. Everyone, I appreciate you calling on. I know this isn't mandatory, but always good to see everyone. And we will be on the stream soon. Any last go backs before I call it quit? All right. Good night, everyone. Again, thanks for showing up, and we will see you next week. And I'll come up with a fly hopefully soon. And then if people want to tie in, you can get the materials ready. So until then, take care. We'll see you.
Thanks for
Bye.
hosting.
See you.